Hey, today Arc Raiders just received a 9GB patch on Steam. What we'll do today is go over the balance changes, discuss the new community event, and check out some fresh cosmetics. Not only that, there's just so much more to cover in today's video. If you could do me a favor, make sure to tap the like button right away and the hype button below if you're on mobile. With that said, let's jump in. Alrighty Raiders, let's go over the patch and some of the new stuff in game. First off, the patch size on Steam is 9GB, and the developers announced the patch just recently in their latest Discord announcement. In the patch notes, they confirmed a few changes here, such as increasing the value on a wolf pack. Before you could sell one for 3,000 coins, now you can sell one for 5,000 coins, as you can see. They also made a change to the crafting requirements. Previously, you would need 2 refined explosives and 2 sensors. After the recent patch, all you need is 3 refined explosives and 2 arc motion cores. It's going to be interesting to hear what you all think about that change. The next change is to the arc motion core and the arc circuitry. What they've done here is make it so that you can craft these items a bit earlier, right? Previously, you would need to upgrade your refiner to level 3, however, all you need to do now is upgrade your refiner to level 2, and you can craft both the arc motion core and the arc circuitry. Yet, to craft those items, you'll need more arc alloy. For example, they wrote here that before, all you needed was 6 arc alloy, now you need 8 arc alloy in order to craft those 2 items. Now, that's not the only item on the list that's received a change because the launcher ammo value was increased. Previously, you could sell one for 100 coins, now you can sell it for 200 coins. The crafting requirements have also changed. They updated them so that you need 4 metal parts instead of 5, and you'll need 1 refined explosive instead of 1 crude explosive. The other item change was for the spotter relay. You could sell one for 5,000 in the last update, but now you can sell it for 2,000 coins in the current update. Now, besides price, item, and requirement changes, they made a few adjustments to the XP gains. Bastions, Bombardiers, Rocketeers, and Leapers have received a reduced XP per damage from 3 to 2. Not only that, they also reduced the amount of XP you can earn when looting arc parts on the Bastion, which was 500 XP, it's now 250. And the Bombardier used to be 500 XP as well, and the devs reduced it down to 300. Now, sure, it looks kind of bad seeing the XP reduced, but they have confirmed they increased the XP for looting arc parts on the Rocketeer thruster, which was 200, it's now 500, and the Leaper leg used to be 200, it's now been increased to 500 as well. That's pretty much all the balance changes, and I'd love to know right away if you agree or disagree with the XP changes. If so, feel free to comment below and tell me what you think. Okay, continuing on, before we go further into the patch notes, we have to go over the new price changes in Arc Raiders, because prior to this patch, the prices were quite high. If you didn't know, it used to be 2,400 for the entire pack, or 2,400. They've now sliced it quite significantly, as you can see here. You can now buy an entire pack for only 1,500, and they also compensated players, as you can tell here at the top right. I've received 900 coins, which is awesome. I'm excited that the developers are actually listening to the community, and things will only get better from here on out. Oh, and speaking of cosmetics, let's talk about the new cosmetics quickly, considering the developers have updated the shop just recently. We now have 3 skins here. The first is the Torpedo set, and I absolutely love this skin already. It comes with 6 items. You can obviously change the stuff on the armor if you don't like the helmet. You can, of course, turn it off for the goggles, mask, and so forth. The second skin is the Umbra, if I'm pronouncing it right. It comes with 4 items, including an emote, and there are customization options for the bag, belt, and headgear. The third set is for Scrappy because, well, this fella has received a hard hat, essentially. Lastly, I'm not sure if this one is new. For some reason, I can't recall if it is. The reason is mainly because we have another spacesuit theme set, and I'm not sure if I'm getting it mixed up with that one. I'm pretty sure I am. So this one I think is new. If you can, drop a comment below and let me know if this is new. I'd appreciate it. I'm 90% sure it is. Next up, before we go further into the notes, I'd like to bring up one more thing, and I'd like to show you the new community unlock event that pops up instantly on the front page. And if we go to the view details, we can get a closer look at the page and what we have to donate. You have the following options currently: metal parts, fabric, plastic parts, rubber parts, and chemicals. Once you've reached your max merits, you can still donate regardless to help the cause. As you can see here, I've completely maxed it out. At the time of creating this video, we're at 8%, and it says right here that this is the first phase, essentially. And there's a second phase where you can use your merits to claim the rewards. Overall, I have a funny feeling that this will be completed quickly, and it's going to be quite exciting to check out this new map once it's available. Alright, since we've gone over that information, let's take a closer look at the rest of the patch changes. They finally patched the issue with achievements and how they weren't unlocking properly. They wrote here that they resolved issues with various achievements that were not unlocked correctly, and unfortunately, you players out there will have to redo some achievements, such as destroying the queen. If you have an achievement that you want to unlock that requires a few objectives, then you'll need parts of them completed again, and that's the case currently, unfortunately. Anywho, the next bug is for arc enemies, such as the fireball enemies. They will no longer get stuck on security gates, and they can now properly pursue players. They also resolved a bug with surveyors that could move out of the playable areas. In fact, I actually had that happen to me in Buried City. And lastly, for arc enemies, they patched a bug that caused some enemies to take more damage than the devs intended. That's interesting. Besides bugs with enemies, they corrected 3 specific issues with audio. For instance, they explained that they added a system default option for voice chat, balanced out the audio for breathing with and without helmets, and you can hear the breathing less over distances. Continuing on to the next bug fix, which is cosmetics. It's pretty simple. They fixed a problem where members of your party would appear with a base appearance. That's really it for cosmetics. Next up, map issues have been patched as well. For example, on the dam, there were certain locations that would force players to fall through the terrain and under the map. And there was a collision issue that caused players to get stuck, and that was also resolved. Buried City also had a similar issue with players falling through terrain. The devs patched various flickering and clipping issues as well, and fixed some spots where players could get stuck in the subway station. For Spaceport, the devs confirmed they sealed one of the rooms in the Spaceport departure building, and now you have to breach it in order to gain access. The decision here was based on the loot inside, pretty much. However, they fixed an issue with certain doors in Buried City, in Spaceport, basically that could not be breached in the launch tower. Blue Gate, on the other hand, had an issue where players could wander into the Blue Gate control room and get trapped. Lastly, for maps, this one is for all hatches. The developers corrected an issue where we weren't receiving immunity to damage or knockbacks when entering a hatch. And they finally increased the interaction distance for hatches as well. Moving along, the next exciting thing to look forward to with this patch is that the DeSync issues have hopefully been resolved completely. The developers wrote that they've reduced character movement latency on their servers to improve DeSync problems, such as in certain cases where you could get hit behind cover. Not only that, they reduced the delay between arc firing and impact effects on the target. The third change here sort of worries me, and that's the fact that they adjusted the blueprint drop rates for Raider containers. The fourth change is for probes, husk, Raider cache, and so forth. They now count towards looting objectives. The fifth bug was with carryable objects. There were certain cases where you couldn't perform any actions after being downed and revived. The sixth issue was where you could not loot players on steep slopes. And lastly, the field crafting selection now stays on the same item after crafting. Thank goodness for that change. It was quite annoying before. With that being said, we're now going to move on to the next topic, which is movement. All they did was adjust vaulting, and it should be smoother now. Anyway, the user interface has also been adjusted. They added a menu option for splitting stacks, removed the thumb mouse button from the escape action to prevent issues with push to talk, added a confirmation message when reporting players, ensured salvaged items will no longer auto-assign to quick slots when you loot them, and lastly, changed the styling of the UI input hints. I can't talk today. Too much energy drinks, guys. Okay, for utility, there's quite a bit here. There was a problem with the Blaze Grenade Trap because, as you all know, it could take out a queen super fast. They fixed it. They also reduced the tick attachment time for the anti-tick augment passive from 1 second to 0.5 seconds. And speaking of ticks, they fixed the issue where the escape prompt, or whatever it was, would pop up for ticks. There was a problem where it would remain on the screen, like it would say E or whatever button it is for you on console, even after the tick was off. Smoke clouds are now more visible from far away. Trigger nade explosions could instantly eliminate players who are down, but not out. But after the recent patch, that should be resolved. And lastly, for the grappling hook, players can no longer use it to get out of bounds. As for weapons, you should now be able to fire them better. Previously, the bullets could veer off sideways instead of where the crosshairs were. And lastly, for patch note, quest fixes. They patched a problem with completing quests that required players to complete objectives in one round, and the Greasing Her Palms quest in Spaceport was also fixed, and you should see more thrusters. Now what we'll do is wrap up the video by going over the top comments. First, from Johnson here, that said that he bought Arc Raiders because he felt like supporting Embark Studios, and that it's one of his favorite gaming studios. And yeah, they're pretty talented over there. The second top comment is by Big Butter Jr. 5631 that would love for the developers to add a swapping headgear feature for the outfits, and I completely agree with that. It's a great idea. The last and final top comment is by Bad Chewy that said that him and his friend stopped playing together because fighting trios is just so much frustrating, right? It's frustrating, and yeah, that's basically it. And duos is going to be a fun time for a lot of you. Anyways, those are the top comments. Hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, consider tapping the thumbs up button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I'll see you guys in the next one.